So we just got to Germany and there's actually a border check. There's an announcement saying, please have your documents ready. Here in Basel, Switzerland, trams, like the one behind me, take people to work. They take people to their schools and their places of leisure, and occasionally they take people to France. You see, Basel is on the tri-point between Switzerland, France, and Germany, and its tram network serves all three countries. It's the only tram network in the world to serve that many sovereign nations. So today, I'm here in Basel to ride all three of their cross-border tram routes. So now, to catch the tram into downtown, and then out to France. So I think we're starting off right. We got a green median tramway, very lush. You'll also notice that the rails are really close together. These trams use meter gauge, the same as Ethiopia's old railway actually. And here's a line 15 now. Just so you know, this video does contain a lot of flickering lights, so if you are sensitive to that, I would advise skipping this video. So I don't know why, but this tram is giving me IKEA vibes. Like you've got these wood-paneled seats, fairly clean. As we roll into town, we parallel another tram, which happens to be yellow. This belongs to Basel Land Transport, or BLT, which runs trams for Basel Landschaft, the cantons surrounding Basel. Cantons are the main subdivisions of Switzerland, and there's 26 of them in all. Our green tram is run by Basler Verkehrsbetriebe, or BVB, which operates trams for Basel-Stadt, the canton containing Basel and two adjacent municipalities. Both systems share tracks in central Basel. I'm having difficulty capturing the sheer amount of trams there are in this plaza. This is kind of one of the main places where they all come together, and everywhere I look, there's a green or yellow tram going somewhere. There's truly nothing like this in the Western Hemisphere. Like here's the big intersection where a bunch of them connect. Okay, so I want to be on that tram right there to Gare de Saint-Louis. I'm not sure if I'm gonna make it. Not even sure where you're supposed to cross. Thankfully, we make it on board tram line 3, which will be taking us north from Basel up across the French border to the town of Saint-Louis. These trams only have cabs in the front, as the whole system has turning loops, so that leaves some great views in the back. On its way to France, line 3 travels up the Kohlenberg, a hill with a grade of 7.9% bordering the city's old town. Electric trams have been running in Basel since 1895, but the extension from the Swiss border to Saint-Louis opened quite recently in 2017. Before too long, we're passing this sign welcoming travelers in the other direction to Basel, which means we just crossed the border into France, in a tram. While Switzerland isn't a member of the European Union, it is part of the Schengen area, meaning anyone coming from a neighboring country can freely pass into and out of it, without traditional border control. Goods are a bit of a different matter, but we'll get to that. In the meantime, our tram zigs and zags through this bit of France before stopping at the Saint-Louis train station. I just took a tram between two countries. First time I've ever done that. The hope is for the line to eventually extend to Basel's airport, which is in France for reasons, and the first tracks have already been laid in anticipation. But for right now, trains turn on a loop and head back to Switzerland. But what's the point of going to another country if you don't see at least one or two things there? So I'm gonna walk through this station, Gare de Saint-Louis, and see what I can see. I just flew in from London this morning. I have no idea what direction I'm supposed to look for traffic. Like I know in my head, but it's not instinctual. Saint-Louis is a French commune with a population of about 22,000. Just a short walk from the tram and the train stations, we find the city's war memorial, as well as the city church with a statue of Mr. Saint-Louis himself, or St. Louis as you might know him in English. A little further to the south, there's a bakery where they give me a delicious personal pizza for just €4.50, complete with a fork and knife. Then it's time to head to the train station and catch a regional service back to Basel. We'll be riding an SNCF Transport Express regional train, or TER for short, from here to Basel's main railway station. This train comes with particularly cushy seats. I think I was supposed to be on that train. So the people sitting in front of me are also Americans, and they help me look at the timetable. Apparently this train is stopping very soon at a place called Mulhouse. I'm probably saying that wrong. Is that a TGV? That is a TGV. This train eventually makes its way to the city of Mulhouse. Stepping off, there's just enough time to have a look at the city's cheery yellow trams and stick up our noses at them because what, they only go to one country? Back on the platform, some TER trains are gearing up to depart with diesel multiple units, and ours pulls in with compartment-style seating. Throwback to Morocco. I feel like SNCF throws a lot of different equipment onto TER trains, at least on this route, which keeps it interesting. Just over 20 minutes later, the train pulls back into Basel. Basel SBB is Basel's main train station, and it's a gargantuan meeting point for Swiss, French, and German trains. The 1907 head house overlooks Zentralbahnplatz, a massive meeting point of BVB and BLT trams, and it's here that we'll board our second of 3 international trams. BLT Line 10 to the Swiss village of Rodersdorf. Wait, Swiss? That's not international. Well, yes, but the station right before it is in fact in France. This makes things a little complicated with customs, as we shall soon find out. For now, we ride through the rainy, narrow streets of downtown Basel, past the zoo, and parallel a public road out of the city, where we spot a much older car from BLT's fleet. We'll check that out in a bit. One nap later, we're out in the countryside. Wiping off the condensation on the back window, we can see we've arrived in the French village of Leymen. The next and last stop is in Rodersdorf, back in Switzerland. Alright, we've made it to the end of the line, and we're still in Switzerland, but we did pass through France earlier, so I'm going to be jumping on this train in just a couple minutes and riding one stop back to France to see what that station and the area around it are like. I have noticed there's this walking trail that kind of parallels the tram route, so I figured I'd go up here to get a better look at the loop. There's the tram down there, the village behind it. Now, while Switzerland and France allow free movement across their border, they are subjected to different customs regulations. On line 10, if you're carrying something between Rodersdorf and the rest of Switzerland, your goods are considered privileged transit traffic while passing through France, and French customs rules don't apply to them. But the moment you step off in Leymen, French rules do, in fact, apply. And I'm back in France! I'm also the only one getting off here. So a lot of this bit out here is single-tracked. This is where the trams pass each other. You can't see it, but there was one going in the other direction a second ago. Leymen Station was opened in 1910. At the time, the territory was part of the German Empire, who only allowed the Swiss to build a railway through their land to Rodersdorf if they themselves got a station. So it looks like this area is very rural and residential. Mostly just a lot of houses. So Google Maps says there is a castle up on the hill behind me, which I would love to go check out if it wasn't raining buckets at the moment. Don't think there's really much to do here. This is a suburb that does not suck. And the crossing gates are coming down, so better run for it. Fun fact, in the past, the ticket machine here at Leymen only took Swiss francs, even though the station is in France, which uses the euro. Update, I jumped off the tram partway back to Basel because I want to catch the 17 in the hopes that it has some of the older equipment. This is an SWP BE4/8, built between 1978 and 1991, and retrofitted later to have a longer central section. It's leading a BE4/6, which never underwent modification. Another pair of trams pull up and I step on board. The interior here is high floor and feels much older than the modern articulated trams we've been riding thus far. It has that kind of trolley museum smell almost. The motor's definitely louder and the windows are very foggy. We cruise through the rain until we're back downtown. So of course, if you have seen the map, which you have if you are watching this video, you know that my final destination is in Germany, which I have never visited to date. Okay, change of plans, I want to ride this thing first. This is a BVB Schindler BE4/4, built between 1986 and 1987. It's currently not authorized to operate on the French or German sections of the network, but we can still ride it through downtown Basel. Despite being the third largest city in Switzerland, Basel only has a population of about 177,000 people, and a metro area of only 830,000 across the 3 countries, about that of Dayton, Ohio. And of course, there's a McDonald's at this stop as well. We need to stop taking over the world. This station also serves Basel's 500-year-old town hall. One more stop and we're at Basel Minster, a Reformed Protestant church also dating back 500 years, and one of the top tourist attractions in the city. From the back of it, we can see the Rhine River, which cuts through the city and plays host to 4 unique ferries. These are powered only by the river's current and guided by an overhead string system. But unfortunately, with today's torrential rains, the boats aren't operating. So we hop on BVB Tram Line 8, headed to our final destination of Weil am Rhein in Germany. This line was extended into Germany in 2014, becoming the first newly built cross-border tram service in Europe since World War II. To make this work, Basel trams had to be retrofitted with various German safety features, including brake and hazard lights, and it was determined that disabled Germans who can ride their country's public transit for free could also board the line in Germany and use their passes as far as Klaraplatz in Basel.
There will be controls at the national border. Please have your identity documents ready so that the interruption to our travel remains short.
We cross a bridge and find ourselves in our third and final country of Germany, where the train pulls to the side of the road. So we just got to Germany and there's actually a border check. There's an announcement saying, please have your documents ready. A few moments later, border guards inspect everyone's documents, barely glancing at my passport, and asking a few more questions of a couple who appear to be from an African country. Then we're rolling into Weil am Rhein, home to about 30,000 people. Fun fact, for the southbound trip, articulated trams are legally considered to be in Switzerland when the first door crosses the border, allowing customs checks while the rear of the train is still in Germany. At long last, we arrive at the end of the line. Stepping into the mall next door, I enjoy a feast of chocolate purchased in Switzerland, a baguette purchased in France, and currywurst purchased in Germany, all retrieved from their respective countries using a single tram system.